conversation piece. Okay, back for another week chat discussion. And as always, your views and opinions are wanted, needed, and much appreciated. And you can send us a text on the usual number 07599642626. And yeah, you might even try. You can see if you can get involved on the phone. 01612225636. And show for this evening is twofold actually. First guest this evening we have Samuel, and you know what I'm like with names and pronouncing them. Samuel's from Kenya, and I'm going to ask him to pronounce his name for me before I try and pronounce it and mess it all up. Okay, well, Samuel's going to be talking to us from Kenya. Samuel's part of a charity group called Noble Charity Group in Kenya, and they do a lot of work with the poor, caring for orphans, elderly, street young people, trying to prevent them from getting involved in crime, and yeah, a lot of good work that about links and support. They've linked with a group in the UK called Black Links. I think we spoke to over a few months ago as part of that same organisation. They've made a link with the Noble Charity Group in Kenya, specifically around a specific project about working with the elder tribes within Kenya, which in Kenya they have 42 tribes in Kenya. So it's about how would they speak with them, how they learn from them, about preserving history, learning from their culture, their tribes, their traditions, how we can learn in the diaspora from what's taking place in Africa. It's quite a lot of reaching out, going on. I think it's just started for a long time. Still not enough in the sense of reaching out is concerned. Samuel and his members are doing some great work in Africa, and there's many ways in which we can support not just his project but other projects, just like I want to find out from Samuel about his work, why he does his work, how this link with the UK and the diaspora is making a change for the positive, not just for them, but also for what we can learn over here, and the chances of obviously exchanges over there, being able to meet somebody else, and have our own conversations and learn about some of that history that we may know a little about, which we know that has been hidden for millennia. So yeah, let me go over and say good evening to Samuel. Good evening, Samuel.
Good evening. How are you?
Hold on. Have you got your mute on? Sorry, it's my fault there. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very good. And that's
Yes.
much better in the sense of me being able to hear you. Now, Samuel, I said your name, but I didn't say your surname, yeah? Because I'm not that great with pronunciations, not just your surname, but surnames, yeah? So can you pronounce your name for me?
Yes. My name is Samuel Mwangangi. Now the surname is Mwangangi.
Mwangangi.
Mwangangi. Yes.
I did it all right then, didn't I?
Yeah. You did all right.
Too bad there. Oh, thank you. And what actual part of Kenya are you residing in? In what part of Kenya are you?
Yeah. I'm in. Yes, I'm in Nairobi, Kenya.
In the capital.
That's the capital city of Kenya.
Okay, excellent. All right then. Listen, time's going to be running, yeah, and I want to find out about Noble Charity Group, a bit about yourself, and also about the link that you've been able to forge with Black Links Global. and how that has benefited you, and possibly what's the opportunities, and from our discussions that other people may think, okay, I'm doing something over here, I'm involved in a project, I'd like to get involved in projects in Africa, in Kenya. Maybe you are somebody who could be a link for people over here to say, okay, how can I support? Because I'm sure in our conversation we might find out that not just the way in which Black Links Global has chose to link with you, that there's possibly many other ways in which links can be made that can be positive on many levels, and also that the mindset of that giving, in the sense that it's not always about monetary, in the sense of what people may need. There's a lot of skills we have here, there's a lot of skills you have over there, and maybe there could just be a nice exchange. So, yeah, just tell us a bit initially about Noble Charity Group, and then because we're going to go to a break and then come back and find out a bit about yourself.
Okay. Noble Charity Group is an initiative of young people here in Kenya, started by me on October 2019. We are now 1 year and about and some few months since we started. It was basically an initiative to help children, especially those who are orphans and living in orphanages, not able to get food and basic necessities because of the needs that they face. So what we really did was we get some few individuals who share the same thought of helping. So we started this initiative, though it was really took time to pick up because the only contribution we were getting was from our own pockets, and which is not enough while we are starting. So what we did, we came together, contributed, tried to find other people who can share the same thought with us, and I'm telling you, it went and picked and really helped the children, and we went over and also helped the street children in Kenya, and until now, it has really we are really impacted our community, and we still feel we can do more in the coming years.
When you say that, you came with a group of people who shared a similar thought to
Yes.
yours, is this like a age group? Was it a set of younger people?
Yes.
I mean, you look quite young yourself.
True. Yeah.
Was it,
Yes.
was it peers, or was there an elder who brought you together?
No. From when I came with this initiative, I wanted to uh, I wanted to start with my own peers, the one we work together, we interact with, and I just tell them how we can really help with the small mm, contribution that we have. So I tried. We went back and forth trying to get other more of out of our age group in terms of the elderly, and even our leaders at work and at our communities to come into this initiative. But most of the members of this normal group are just my peers, young like me. Yes.
Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent. Right, what we're going to do, Samuel, for now, we're going to just take a break.
Okay.
But it's a break because we are online in the UK as well with terrestrial. So send out the advert. You won't hear the advert online. You still will be live online. Okay, and then I'll come back to you once the advert starts. Okay, listeners, we'll be right back.
Feel the vibe on Legacy. Legacy.
All right, Samuel, I'm still here. Just I mean, you might not be able to even answer some of this in the break. But Kenya itself, I mean, Kenya is very much known for its well, it's probably known for different things for you, but
Yes.
here it's very much about the safari. Is it the Maasai?
Yes.
Maasai Mara?
the Maasai and the wild animals.
Yeah, that that's what we see here. In the sense of material, natural resources of Kenya, what are they?
Yeah, Kenya is vast in its culture. Its culture is very rich in terms of these cultures have so much to offer. And we have wild animals here. I know people in diaspora really know about the wildlife here in Africa, especially. But in Kenya, we have so many wild national parks. We have minerals, so much minerals which are exported outside, and we have great beaches in terms of the coastal beaches,
Okay.
amazing ones. So I'll urge even people to come, and they'll be amazed by what Kenya can offer.
Well, I'm hoping that that's going to definitely come across, and I'm sure just us doing these shows, there's much many people over here that Africa has a special place in their heart, but they haven't been, like you said, to go and see some of those things, because I don't think I've ever kind of heard somebody speak of Kenya in relation to beaches, and that's and I'm 53.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right back.
Yes.
Yes, and welcome back. You're on Tune to the Search Engine, and this is Anthony, and I'm currently speaking to Samuel Mwangangi. Now, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And Samuel's from the Noble Charity Group in Kenya, and he's speaking to us about some of the great work, positive work that him and the Noble Charity Group are doing over there, which initially started with them seeing that there's a need for them to do something to try and make a change for some of the young people there that were experiencing poverty, crime, high levels, I suppose lower unemployment. And they decided to do something, come together, try and make a change. And they've also been able to link with a group over here called Black Links Global, who together have initiated a charity to speak with and go around and meet with elders from different tribes in Kenya. Kenya has 42 tribes in Kenya, and we want to touch on some of those and some of their history, knowledge, spirituality, and what Samuel and the project have found out from starting this project. I think up to now they've been able to visit 3 tribes, and he's going to tell us a bit more about that. But we were just talking about the project, how it came about, and I want to say, Samuel, why? I mean, yourself, okay? Because to do that kind of work, I mean, they call it kind of like selfless work, working for other people, making a change, and especially like you said before, there was no real financial gain for you in the beginning. To do that, you've got to start from somewhere, so you started from your heart. In the sense of you and your background, because I see elders, your elders, as in your parents, must have instilled something in you for you to want to do the kind of work that you are choosing to do. So when you go back to, I don't know how old you are, but if you go back a few years, go to school and think, what is it? What were your aspirations as a young man? Are you still in school?
No, I'm not in school.
Right. Can I ask your age?
Yes, I'm 26 years old.
Oh wow, you look even younger than that. Okay, going back to college and going back to school and whatever, and going, what was it that you were aspiring to do, to become?
Yes, I really had a passion of really helping, because people needs really touch my heart, because when people suffer and you're in a position to help, then you don't then you ignore them, the problem really doesn't go away. So it is with the person with the integrity, it is your responsibility to self sacrifice for you to help them, because when you help them, you also help the community at large. When I help one, another person also helps another, over time, we will all be helped in a community. We'll be not in the same level we were as we started. So while I was in school, I was going this kind of activity, other groups, charity groups. We were doing this kind of helping, and it is a very, it really touched my heart. Try and get people really to do more rather than just helping for a week or two. Have something sustainable, which can sustain the people or the children for a really long time. And also for my parents, here in Africa we have optimum respect for our parents. So when you are old, or when they are old, they are not even neglected. We live with them. We still respect them, even if they are not able to really communicate the way or they really cannot carry themselves the way they did while they are in prime age. So that respect is how we now really consider the elders, whatever the age they are. We still go back, try to know, because the knowledge has not really left them. They still have the knowledge. They still know our spiritual backgrounds, where we came from, and where you come from is where you always know where you're going. So for that respect for your parents and respect for your elders, is really now we cannot sit back. We still go and respect them by getting the knowledge and building, take that knowledge for us for our own growth.
Yeah, that's very, very important. So with some of the initial work that you did with some of the young people that you found, how was that received from the young people and from others who did people see you doing the work and then say, okay, that's really good, that I can offer a space to sit down or a packet of flour?
Yeah, at first for my peers, the young people, at first when I told them that we really need to, because we have our own jobs, we can share something from our own salary. They really don't. No, we want to join you because this is just a scheme for you to get some money from us.
Oh, right.
So yeah, so what we really did, I just went. I organized an event. We went, few of us. I shared with them the things we are doing, and after doing some three of them, and see what we are really doing. So that's when people started to join, and they until now they still joining because they see where there's no anything hidden. It's just pure helping and creating a good environment for our community.
And I suppose that's a good place to start. And I suppose it's great that they're honest about how they feel and they're skeptical about, what are you about? Why do you are you doing this? And like you're saying, they've
Yes.
seen the genuineness
Yes.
and changed their view on that. Now, the the so in the sense of how you came about to have the diaspora link with um, with Black Links Global, um, did you look for them? Did they look for you? How did that happen?
Yes. We met with the head of Blacklands, that is Solvian Kiana, and we really we were working on very different things. And at some point, when he took me through what Blacklinks is and how it's helping the black community. That's when he was saying we always have ambassadors in Africa, people who can represent us. And I was saying also, what's the criteria for somebody being an ambassador for your company? And I said, you have to that's a connection with your community. And I told you, no, I have a connection with the community because I have a group which we really connect with in terms of helping the community, helping the children, the sick. And he told us, no, even the elder need can be helped. And I told him, yes, that can be helped, but we really don't have that kind of resources to really help both the children, the sick, and the elders. So that's when we started to a conversation of trying to help the elders and reach them out. And I told him, and the moment we started to interact and really know his world and black lens, that's when I came to realization that people in diaspora really don't know or really don't understand what's happening in Africa, and but some of them yearn to know this knowledge. That's when Black Lens now started this initiative with us, try to go to different tribes here in Kenya, getting this kind of information that so that it can be shared with the people of diaspora, and they can come back also and reconnect with their tribes.
How did you feel? I mean, were you similar to what you said in the sense of the young people when they were skeptical about you, and what your intentions were for making a link? Was there any of that when you met with? Sorry, what was his name?
Sovian Kiana.
Sovian.
Yes.
Sovian.
So yes. So it was not like that for Black Lens and Soviet Kiana. It was more of so you're doing this. I really want to we really support people from African black people from African descent. So I know. So you have this group, okay? He joined our group, and I started taking him through the initiatives we already did, and he had that trust in me, and he donated a good sum of money so that we can start the project. And so far so good. We thank God.
Oh, excellent,
Mm.
excellent. So was this a project that you already had in mind and they were able to support you to take it off the ground? Or was it something that through discussion you found out that this is something that could benefit both sides of the Atlantic?
Yes, for this one, it was just clear that this information will benefit both the diaspora, and also in terms of giving respect to our elders. It really helped them in terms of supporting them with meeting their needs, as well as getting knowledge from them. Also appreciating what they know by sharing it with the Blacklinks Eye magazines, and also sharing this kind of information through videos for people of diaspora to access this kind of information.
Excellent, excellent. That's really good. I want to talk to you. I mean, because there's you said before, and you said it like kind of. I mean, you just went you in the sense of you from your discussion with Sovion, you learned that there's things that we need to learn. Maybe specific to Kenya, maybe right across Africa. What was the kind of things that stood out to you that you thought, this is something that needs to be shared, or you saw a gap in Sovion's knowledge that you thought, yeah, I can help with that?
Yes, for Black Links in trying to reach out for people in helping people businesses in Africa. As we were talking, I noticed that really people from diaspora really don't understand what Africa is all about in terms of resources. They know it is a rich place, but really people here are not rich. And why is that? There's that misunderstanding that maybe it is we are being exploited, or so there's that misunderstanding and misinformation between the diaspora and people in Africa. So I saw it best, and we saw it best with Black Lens. We can get information to clear out the air and remove these myths and misconception about the beliefs and what Africa is all about. Because some believe Africa is just a bush where we live with animals, which is not. We have cities here, we have coastal beaches here, we have good lives here, and I believe, and though people in here in Africa feel that people of diaspora are very lucky. Yeah, they also want to join them instead of staying here and trying to build the Africa. They want to go there, and we saw it best also to learn from the diaspora that they also, some of them want to come to Africa and even stay in Africa, because it is not that all roses in diaspora. So that misinformation or misinformation between the two parties is when now we saw it best for them also to get to know Africa best on the first step, knowing the knowledge, the spiritual, how they came about, because so many of the people of diaspora really don't understand where they came from. Some of them want to know where they came from. So sharing this information about the spiritual leader, how these tribes came to be about, once they are shared, then somebody there in diaspora will be like, okay, I think my grandparent was wearing like this. I was having pictures of this. I think I may come from this tribe, so why not go there? Try to know, even if you're not from that tribe, then learn from it. You'll feel more at home here than you are in the diaspora.
And the thing is that you're very right in the sense of the myths that a lot of people have here in Africa. And for a lot of them, I suppose today with the internet and things like that, you haven't got a lot of excuses not to know the beauty, resources, and the cities and everything else that's in Africa. But for many, they rely on what's in the mainstream media, and a lot, for the most part, in the mainstream media, they're not showing Africa in the most positive light. But I do know, probably within the past 10, 20 years, even longer, people have been flying back to different parts of Africa, especially to some of those countries in Africa that have been actually stretching out their hands and saying, look, we know your family in the diaspora, come home, or if you don't come home in your physical presence, then come home with your knowledge, come home with information, come home with your resources. Come on, let's network, let's make links, just as you have done. And because there's a lot of people, not just from the African background, but just believe that there's a lot of people that do share with Africa, but what they're sharing is maybe they'll see something on the TV and they'll give to a charity. But for many, they don't know what's happening with that money which they're giving. Is it going to the places where they want it to go to? Is it helping the most needy people that it's supposed to help? And I suppose for yourself, you're authentic. You are a grassroots organization. You have started because of the love in your heart and you wanting others not to, I don't know, I'm going to say go through what things or suffer in some ways that you have, and make a change. And that initial start that you've done has led to opening up other links that you've had. Because I'm sure, obviously, with you not meeting with black links, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation now. Yeah. So
Yes.
I totally agree that there's a lot of information, knowledge to be shared. You mentioned before, again, because there's some of the things that we may want to learn is I've actually, let me just read this message here, which is actually coming from from Black Links. So what they're saying is Black Links wants to connect the African diaspora to their ancestral roots through connecting to the spiritual elders of the tribes, and the nobles are an excellent conduit with the elders. Okay, thank you for that, Black Links, and thank you for being here and listening. So yeah, I was getting onto that in the sense of some of the things, because sometimes we don't even know what we need to learn until sometimes we're having the conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
It's very big over here. I know from when I was in my 20s, it was very important to have some kind of understanding of your heritage. But sadly, for most of us in the 80s, 70s, um, the rendition of what we were shown of Africa was Roots. I don't know if you know of that movie.
No.
Well, that's a good thing. Yeah. So, but it mainly portrays that our history started with the advent of slavery. Yeah, with people being kidnapped from Africa and taken over. Hence why you pronounce your name again,
Yes, Mwangangi.
Moganji.
Yes.
Yeah, which is why you're called. You have that name, and I
Yes.
have a slave master's name. Yeah,
Yeah.
that process of being taken and being made into, what we are and the names that we carry today, and that obviously, as we know, took place over quite a number of years. So the what's been lost in that, in the sense of heritage, um, could be phenomenal. You know,
True.
whatever's stored in our DNA. Some people might come over to Africa or Kenya, hear two beats of the drum, and memories start flooding back. Yeah. So tell us
That's
about,
true.
because time's running fast. So tell us about these elders and these tribes. 42 um, tribes in Kenya, um, and I know which you've met up to 3 at the moment. When you was making the decision to go and meet with these tribes, yeah, and there was a link. Black links have said there. What things stood out to say this is what we want to get from this project? This is what we want to get from this meeting.
Okay. When we went to meet these elders, the kind of information we were looking for the most is the spiritual, how they used to pray, how they used to worship, how do they connect to their God in that time. Because most information, most of religions or spiritual these days has been diluted with the modernization. But when we went there, we wanted to know the history of the tribe and where really the tribe came from. Once the colonial came, did the tribe change? What information was there, and it is not yet. It is not there now. See, the kind of the songs they used to sing and the dances they used to dance, and the what information really can they offer to the diaspora so that the diaspora can really be touched and connect back to them. So we were having so much those because they offer so much information. We tried as much as to pick the kind of information which would be also helpful to the people of diaspora. So the spirituality, the way they used to worship, they used to wear the things they used to wear. Though there's not much to tell about what they used to wear because they really didn't wear anything at that time. Most of them told us so.
So
So
would you say that now, in the sense of
yes,
there's what, when you say used, because you've used the term a couple of times, used to wear. Um,
yes.
so do you think, is it more now for spiritual reasons that some dress traditionally, or
Yes, for that time it was crucial for them to wear in that attire, because that's when some other tribes feel like that's when God can really identify their gods can really identify them, and that's the way the attire you wear when you go to pray, in terms of showing respect, in terms of showing like you are humble. But with the modernization, people are
sorry
starting, yeah,
for stopping you there, because the thing that kind of like not gets me, but intrigues me, because there's, like he says, there's so much. When you said clothes that they wear, spiritual practices. I mean, we can throw some of those things out, but when we look at some of the clothes, not just in Kenya, but across Africa, in the sense of the materials, the different designs on the materials, the colours. I mean, I spoke to a lady quite a lot of years ago on here. I think she was from Nigeria, and she talked about how you wear a band around your waist, it means something. How you wear a wrap on your head, it means something. You know, all these different colours, and it's like, where? So when I'm thinking about going and talking to the tribes and the elders who have had this information passed down to them over times, can they go so, do you think, or is this a question that I can even give to you to take to them when you meet, is how they came about designing those types of materials in the ways that they did to mean what they did? Was that through meditation? Was it, I don't know, do you kind of get what I'm asking?
Yes, I get you, because different here in Kenya we have 42 different tribes, and every tribe has their own attire, how they clothe themselves, the spiritual elders, for that matter. So for them, some of them were really thought to be, the things they use for their clothes are readily available, but they used to mean something. You see, like the beads in a Maasai cloth, all were worn by the old women. Those are the kind of beads you wear when you are old, and when you visit a shrine for a prayer. That's when they can be heard and respected, because even in Maasai, only the elder can attend a shrine. You see, so everything they used on their clothes really means something, and it connects to their spiritual practices.
Okay, most definitely. And I suppose is it any bit different for men and for women?
Yes, because in that time, the men were viewed as more superior in terms of speaking to their gods. So men usually it's not much, because upper side some of them are empty, they are naked, but you feel on the below the waist, that's where they wear something, and the women wear full attire when they go to pray.
And is that a question? Because again, obviously, you have Western mindset and probably, people. It is a, I mean, it might sound absolutely a silly question in the sense of the reasoning why they will still stick to the tradition of not wearing clothes and not feel that they are in any way doing things that are out of date or primitive.
Yeah, it's because of there's punishment, and there's curses, there's also taboos, which has very dire consequences when you really go against them. So they really stick to that attire, despite the changes, despite everything, because they want to appease their god, because they really need rain, really water, and they need water. They need their gods to supply them with their daily needs. So once something of that, maybe somebody goes to the shrine without that kind of an attire, then all of a sudden rain disappears. There's drought and famine everywhere. So that person will be saying, maybe he'll be an outcast from that community, because you really didn't go with the way the gods they really want when you come for a prayer.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to take another break, and then but I'm going to come back to you. Somebody put something in the chat, and but it seems to be another language. What language is it that you speak?
Me, I speak Kamba language.
Kamba.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're going to have a break now, and we'll be right back.
Feel the vibe on Legacy.
Greetings. This is a message.
Okay, Samuel. So you speak Kamba.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if this person's put this in. Is that your language?
No. This I don't think it is a Kenyan language itself.
Okay, all
Yes.
right. They could be saying anything then, couldn't they?
Yeah,
I would
but
know.
it seems it's like a kind of greetings.
Yeah. But don't know from which language. So
Yes.
so again, is what's the main language that's spoken? Is there a main language that's spoken in Kenya?
Mm, mm, mm. It's little bit of every language because we have so many language, but we have like 7 or 6 tribes which are superior. So most it has most people, so is spoken widely, like Kikuyu, Kamba, Maasai. This is one of the
So,
big
so if I
tribes.
so if I went to Kenya and I wanted to kind of like be able to speak with the majority, even just to say hello, yeah, I mean,
Yes.
what is it that I would say?
Yeah, you can. There's a number of them, but when you reach here, you can use like the Maasai. They used to they greet each other like hero. You
Hello,
say hero, yes, hero. Like
hello,
just the
like
name. I will say hero, just hero, but then the person will respond super.
so.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds is it? Do you know what learning? Because I mean I can't even speak English
Yes.
properly. Hold on.
Legacy 95.1.
Yes, welcome back. You're on Tune to the Search Engine, and you're listening to Anthony. I'm currently speaking to Samuel from Kenya, from the Noble Charity Group, doing some absolutely great work over there in Kenya, and they've actually linked with Black Links Global over here in the UK, and they have started a project specifically around working with and meeting with and learning from elders within Kenya. Over 42 tribes in Kenya, loads to learn, probably going back thousands of years on a physical plane, and then even further on a spiritual plane. And yeah, he's sharing with us some of that information, and also making us aware that there's a lot that can be done, still be done. Links can be made. They want to make links with the diaspora and build awareness, knowledge, and here we go. They've replied. They said it means hello. It's Medu. You know Medu? Is that a Kenyan language?
No, that's not Kenyan language. But as I told you, that's just a greeting because it looked like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, well, you were right. Thank you, Iranka. I probably got that wrong too, but still, thank you for your input. Listen, we've literally got 10 minutes to go before we've got to move on. So, the sense of the elders, because a big thing for us over here, and I'm sure over there, is about how you don't wake up and become an elder in a day. Yeah, it
Mm.
takes time, and I'm sure. I mean, I don't know elder, but from my experience and reading, you're not an elder just because you become a certain age.
True.
There is a rites of passage
Yes.
that needs to take place. Have you had any discussions about what kind of things are entailed in rites of passage, or how do you actually know when a girl has actually become a woman, not just by their physical change, and same for a boy becoming a man?
Yes. Different tribe have different rites of passage. Like for the Maasais, they have you have to be a for you to be a man. There's a process for you to be a man because you have to get circumcised. You have to know how to slaughter a goat. You have to know when to take them to the for grazing, and when the goat maybe or the cow gives birth, how do you take care of it? Then there's a couple of challenges you have to overcome for you to become for you to be mature enough to be called now you're an elder. Also for the question of who can be an elder. elders in this community don't come from just anyone. You must come from a blessed family. That lineage of that family, you can really know if you'll be an elder once you know you are in a blessed family, because when your father is an elder, most probably you'll be an elder, especially for the firstborn. So you'll be everything done to you, and the training and everything will be to take you, or to make you learn to be an elder, how to be a leader, how to solve problems in your community. So you have to come from a blessed family, from the word go, from the grandpa up to your father.
So they follow your lineage.
Yes.
And in relation, in relation to what was I going to ask then? In relation to people getting in contact with yourself, Samuel, and being able to keep abreast, keep up, get updates on how this initiative is going, and obviously see opportunities for getting involved, or even to become a member of the Noble Group. How can people do that?
People can get in touch with us through We the United. That's our platform we are really using to connect with the people of diaspora. When they enter there, they just click on the groups. They will see the Noble Charity Group, one of the first groups there. So when they enter there, they find the information, what we really do, what we have done. We have photos there. We have videos of the all the information we have got from the elders, and more will be posted there. So when they connect with us, there'll be updates on every tribe. Once done, the information will be posted there. So With the United is the main platform for now. We also have a Facebook page, the Noble Charity Group. You just search Noble Charity Group, and there you will find us. You can connect with us, trying to even add more questions of what you want to know from the elders. We can still help giving you by getting you that kind of information. Yes.
What are the elders, the ones that you've met up to now? What are they actually saying in the sense of you coming and seeking knowledge from them, and how are they receiving that?
Yes. Yeah. They are really, because most of the elders, because of people moving to towns, they are really have been neglected. So when they see people come and really appreciate the knowledge they have, give them an ear and ear for them to listen to what they have to say, really thrives them, and they feel excited, and they really want to share more of what they know. So they're usually very excited, very happy, even if you not give them anything. That consideration you give them, they really appreciate.
And do they see again? Then obviously you're coming there, you're from there, but then you're also going there and you're saying, okay, look, we've got some links with these people in the diaspora, whether that's the UK, US, or whatever. Does that chime a different kind of approach as well? Do they see that differently? See that the same? What kind of wisdom do they bring to that?
Yes, what they really have information of people, what they can say or they can tell about to the people of diaspora. So once we sit with them, trying to talk to them, that kind of information they usually give us at the end of every discussion, of that wisdom to give the people of diaspora, because we always tell them that this kind of information will be shared with the people of diaspora, the UK, the US. So what do you really want to tell them? Because most of them, they were separated with the people who are in diaspora once the colonial came. That's now the kind of information feel like come back. We are still alive. We thought maybe we are dead. We are still alive. We can still come back and reconnect. Yes.
Okay. Well, got a link there for you, Samuel. So keep up the good work, Samuel. I'd like to get involved with the work you are doing. Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah, so maybe you can link with them after the show. No, that's really positive. Is there a main kind of message that you're getting from them when you're speaking, that they say this is a time for a certain type of action? Or
Yes. Yes. The main thing always they say is you will not feel at home, or will not feel you're complete until you know where you come from. Because your children will really want to know, did we really come from the places where we are born from? But so they really want to just come, know your place where you come from, know your roots, understand them, appreciate the knowledge and the wisdom that is in here, and also invest here in Africa. You see, once you invest here in Africa, you have invested in yourself.
and this Savion, he met you in Kenya.
No, we are so far we have not. He's not yet to come in Kenya. We usually communicate through online and trying to support and share whatever the ideas we have, and also he shares what the ideas he has, and we come up with a good plan and initiative to at least to fill this gap of trying to push the knowledge to the diaspora.
Okay, so it's really then you've really then connected over the waters online then for
Yes.
this link and this initiative to come alive.
Yes, he's really connected, and he really has a passion to learn more himself, and also yearn for other people who are in UK and every places in the diaspora also to learn this knowledge.
Definitely, that's amazing. We are gonna, because like I say, I mean, is there a time scale that you have? 42 tribes. I'm sure they're not all in one place, are they?
No, they both are in Kenya, not in one place, but they are scattered in different areas in Kenya.
Okay, and for the ones that you've seen already, I know, like I said, I'm kind of like rubbish with some of the names. So you've got the Maasai, the Lua.
Yes, Luo.
It's Luo.
The Luo. Yes, Luo.
Kamba.
Yes, Kamba. Kamba.
KiKuyu.
KiKuyu. Yes, that's the next one.
So these are some of the ones that you've met already.
Yes.
How much do some of these tribes interact with each other?
Yes, in the past you are not allowed to interact or even intermarry between the tribes, but because of harmony and really trying to understand each other's tribe and whatever we share, now the people interact. There's no problem. You can interact. You can intermarry from each tribe. There's no problem, as long as you follow the rights of that tribe. If you want to marry, you have to follow the tribe, the rights and the regulations of the tribes of that the wife you want to marry.
Okay, and in the sense of old knowledge, in the sense of herbs, medicine, how they must have so much to offer on that area.
Yes, they offer so much, because even in this time of COVID-19, they have come up with the herbal medicines of giving you that vaccine, or that you are healed so fast, because they use leaves, some kind use leaves and some seeds and some even roots for you to get that you get healing from them, because they really don't appreciate going to the hospital, because they feel like that's a white man thing. and they don't trust somebody giving you a job. So whatever they campaign for, just use the herbal. They are safe. There's no much side effects, and many people have been healed chronic diseases from such kind of herbal medicines.
Okay. Right, Samuel, we're out of time
Yes,
for this first kind of like meeting. So, thank you very much for sharing that information with us. Um, we will keep looking and seeing how the initiative progresses, and yeah, let's check in and keep us up to date, and maybe see. I don't know. Are some of these tribes that you go into, are they on the, is any of them on the internet?
yes, they are. We are trying to connect because we are who of us who are in the capital. We try to connect them to the people because we have internet, we have Skype, we have different platforms of where we can connect with them. Anytime anybody who wants to connect with the people with the elders here in Kenya, there's always a way. You can just reach us to we the United, then we can connect you to them. And I really thank you for having me on this platform.
Oh, you're welcome, man. And
Yes,
maybe that's a great show that we could probably do. Have a council with the elders.
yes,
Um, that would be beautiful.
that
Samuel,
will be
listen, you
yes.
take care, man,
Take
and
care too.
we'll speak soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Samuel,
much.
say your surname again before you go.
My name is Samuel Mwangangi.
Samuel Mwangangi. Yeah.
Mwangangi, and you should get also a name like this for yourself also.
You might have to get me one. Yeah, talk to
Yes,
one of the elders. I have to give you. I don't know how to do that. I know some do it by your date of birth or when you're born. I don't know if
yeah.
it's that they might have
You'll be baptized and given one in terms of you'll pass some times of a rite of passage for you to be
okay.
given an African name.
Excellent. All right then, Samuel. You take care. See
You
you
take
soon.
care.
Bye bye. Samuel. I'm not going to say his name because I have it. Mwangangi. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. From the Noble Charity Group, and yeah, doing some absolutely amazing work in Kenya, and available for links. And like I said, they've linked with the Black Links Global, absolutely doing some amazing stuff. And this work that they're doing with the elder tribes sounds extremely interesting. Most definitely something that I'd love to get in touch with. We're going to move on. We're going to move on to the next part of this evening's show.
The heartbeat of your community. Legacy 90.1. Your number one community station. Yeah. This is Legacy 90.1.
Yes, and for the second part of this show, we are going to be joined by Reverend Joe Malaika. Joe's been on, I haven't spoken to Joe for quite a while, but she should be joining us this evening, along with Karen Hutchinson. Now, Karen, Joe, as you know, is a multi-faith minister, and Karen is health and well-being worker, or she'll tell us a bit exactly what the title is, with Khan. And we're going to be talking about a sensitive topic, made more sensitive because probably we don't talk about it enough. But we want to talk with them about the issue of suicide. There are some safe space groups and discussions that Karen and Joe have been facilitating. There is another one taking place on the 7th of April between 7 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. raising awareness around the issue, where you can get support, where you can talk about this in a safe space, whether it's for you personally or whether it's somebody that you're concerned about as a family member. You can gain advice, information, support, places that you can go to for that support. And also within this safe space, there are also counsellors available So should you need some advice or support at the event on the evening, that is also available to take place. Let me say good evening to Karen. Did I say that right? Good evening, Karen. Hold on. Have I got you here? Have I got you? Yeah. You're muted, Karen. You're muted. You have to take yourself off mute.
I have done.
Right, there you are. Got you now.
It's like my worst nightmare that you're on mute.
You're muted. Can you take yourself off mute?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. I don't know, for some reason Joe texted me and said, I'm here, can you see me? And I said to her, no, I can't. I can see Karen, but I can't see Joe. So
she's hiding in the wings somewhere.
Maybe she'll join us in a little while. So yeah, as I said, thank you for joining us. And I did say before that we're going to be talking about the topic of suicide. Can you just tell us a bit about I don't even know what to really call it. Is it a program or it's an awareness event? Because it's more than one. I think this is the second one that's going to be
the second of third of three. We plan to do three events, just really giving people, and it's called Kaponya Cafe. And Kaponya is Swahili. Funny enough, the gentleman before is from Kenya, and Swahili is is a language that's spoken in Kenya. But Kaponya means healing, and the idea being that Kaponya Cafe is a place where people can start to get healing around the subject, around suicide, and it's a place where people can. If you've had thoughts of suicide, if you've been bereaved by suicide, it's somewhere to come and talk, where you can talk about how it's impacted on you. Because as a community, it's not something that we talk about very much. When somebody passes away from suicide, it's not something that we talk about. Somebody used the phrase, "It goes really quiet." And so what do people then do? What thoughts are they left with? Where can they go and talk about that? Because the church doesn't, some churches frown on suicide, so people can't all go to their church elders to talk about it. They don't want to. There's an embarrassment. There's all these things that can potentially come from somebody in the family or somebody that because it's not always family friends. It could be family. Not always family members, it could be a friend, somebody that It doesn't mean that you're any less impacted because of that. So it's just somewhere that we're encouraging people to talk about it, so it isn't a taboo subject anymore.
Yeah, and Karen, why now? Why is it to do with because with COVID and everything that's going on, there seems to be much more pressure.
Well, yeah. And I think, people, I think the COVID has impacted on us in so many different ways. And we've heard there's been an increased rate in suicide, there's an increased rate in domestic violence. People's mental health have been impacted negatively for many people in so many different ways. And some people have had those thoughts, I'd rather be dead. And you have that thought, and what do you do with that thought? So even just having that thought can spiral. People are left, because of lockdown. I mean, we know it's easing, but people are, they've been, and I use the word lockdown with their thoughts. They don't know where to go to. Who can they talk to about this? So, I mean, you say why now? I think why not? That's not an easy, not a sort of a flippant answer. Is that it needs to be talked about.
Yeah, I suppose, like you said before, for most people, it's until they hear about it happening or it happening to somebody close to them that they start thinking about it or asking questions about it. And I suppose they also, because the rate of, again, because although, and please tell me if I'm putting this in the wrong kind of way or wrong context, because mental health is very much talked about in so many areas, of which suicide, would you say, is an extreme part of
that's an interesting. I think because somebody has got mental health problems doesn't mean that they will be suicidal. And somebody that's suicidal or has committed suicide might not have shown any signs of mental health issues. Nothing, there might not have been anything evident to somebody else. Because I think one of the things that's often said after suicide is, I didn't see anything, there were no signs, because people do things spontaneously. But it's about, and I think it's having that conversation, because sometimes we don't necessarily think something's a sign, but it could be. So somebody who withdraws themselves away from you, I mean, they might be going, so they've taken time out to think about stuff, but actually that might be a sign of them withdrawing from the people that they will normally talk to. And it's at those times where they don't have the opportunity to talk that things sometimes go further, as in they then make an attempt on their life. So I think what we hope that through Kaponya is that we can sit and talk to people about things that they might look for, having that conversation. And I think one of the things I will share with everybody is never be afraid to ask anybody, how are they feeling, what's going on for you. And I mean, really ask that question, when somebody says they're feeling bad, have you ever thought of suicide? Don't be afraid to ask that question, because sometimes asking that question gets them to, that kind of relief to talk.
Wow. And before
I saw your face.
Before you said that, yeah, my question was, how do you ask somebody about it? And then you said, ask somebody, have you ever thought about it? But it's like, I can see that effect there.
I saw your face. And, I mean, I've been a nurse for many, many years. I've been a mental health nurse for many years. And I've done many assessments, call it, assessment of someone's mental health. And we ask that question as part of what we do. As part of my day to day, have you ever thought of suicide? And, every time you ask that question, I stop, and I give the person time to think, because, yeah, I did actually, and some people have never, ever been asked.
Yeah.
And
sorry for stopping.
No,
I've
please.
had messages from Jo saying that she's having problems to getting on the screen. I don't know what to suggest, Jo. You got to follow the link and the information that was sent. The worst thing is that she sent the information to you.
He said practice first, so I practiced first.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, it was like it's like sometimes there's that fear of what to say. But that was very poignant, is that the word? To be direct.
And that's it. I mean, I didn't truly believe how important it was until I did it, if that makes sense. Sort of, you ask somebody and then somebody says, yeah, actually yesterday, and you think, whoa, you're surprised by their response, but then it's like, okay, so what made you feel that way? So it opens another dialogue, or it opens the dialogue about their feelings, about their thoughts, and people's, have they got plans, and you ask those questions, and well, okay, what can we do to stop those thoughts? What can we do to help you, to think differently, to give you some hope for living, and it's, it's baby steps. It really can be baby steps.
We're going to just go to a break and then we'll see if we can try and help out, Jo. We'll be right back.
Feel the vibe on Legacy. We want to.
Right, Joe's saying that you're saying that you can hear us, Joe. Joe, maybe what you've done when you've connected, you haven't connected with your camera. You may have just connected with your audio. Well, not even with your audio, because you would have come up as audio only. So maybe you need to go back out and reconnect again from the start. That's probably the best thing for you to do. Yeah. And just while we're waiting for Joe to do that, and while we're on the break, just let me just go for a message from before, which is Black Links Global will continue to support the nobles and sharing their work with the rest of the world, as it is receiving a lot of attention. Thank you very much for that, Black Links, and thank you for sharing that with us. So, Karen, can you just remind us about the events, how people get involved, where they can, because I mean, I've seen the leaflet and it says to send an email to help at Khan.
That's right.
Is that how people get involved?
That's how they can get if they send us the information, if they send us their details, we can then send them a link to how to get onto the platform on the night. Okay,
and is that obviously around being safe and making sure?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we have, we want people to come, to come along and sort of talk to us and to see what's going on. But if you do it via the Khan registration, we've got your details. We can offer support should you need it. And if you send us the information.
Sorry.
So if you send us the information, we can send the link for the Zoom.
Okay, brilliant. Welcome back. You are listening to the Search Engine on Legacy 90.1. I'm currently speaking with Karen Hutchinson, health and well-being practitioner from Khan. We were supposed to have, she is here with us. She's a multi-faith practitioner, so she's here with us in spirit. Yeah, most definitely, because she's telling us that she can hear us, she can see us, but we can't see her. So we are praying that she's going to join us or appear out of the ether very soon. Please try and reconnect there. Joe, she's saying hello, but she's not getting through. But hopefully she's saying she's here, but can't see you, Joe. Right. So, but we're here with Karen and Joe talking about suicide, and since Karen told me that I can be direct, because even when I said it with a little bit of we're talking about suicide in that way, but no, we're talking about suicide, very serious topic, an issue that I suppose at some point in our life, even if we don't go down that road in a serious matter, we've said it, even if it's not a serious, well, who can say what is serious to one person is
not another
for somebody else. So what is it in the sense of I don't know, signs?
I think one of the things that I mentioned before is, somebody might withdraw from their friends, their family, spend a lot of time alone, not communicating in the way that they would normally do. That's a potential sign. I always say risky behaviours, and I sort of somebody acting out of character, maybe, doing sort of, and I use that kind of like they don't care much for their life. They're not they're being a bit, we use the word reckless, doing things, but it's something that might be out of character. You think, hang on a second, that's not that person. So I said, don't be afraid to ask them what's going on. So it's those could potentially be signs. They could actually have signs of depression. So that, their mood is very low. They're going back to the not communicating. Then they might be showing signs of not sleeping. They're just out of sync with the way that they would normally behave. So it's being aware of the, and I always say it's good when if you know somebody, never be afraid to sort of ask, like I say, ask the question, are you okay? And it doesn't have to go straight to the, are you suicidal? But kind of get in there, try and find out what's happening, what's going on. Are you worried? Are you, something changed in your life? And start that dialogue, and once you've started that dialogue, you can say, are you feeling suicidal? Or, have you ever thought of it? And I think you sort of made a point there, is that people sometimes do think of have suicidal thoughts, but they never take it, they never do anything about it. Sometimes it's a fleeting thought, I'd rather be dead. And especially, I think, as I was saying about COVID's impacted people in so many different ways. And, there's been lots of things thrown at people. Let's talk about bereavement. There's been, people have had multiple bereavements during this period of time. And we don't know how that might impact. It might impact me differently to how it impacts you. And it's how somebody copes with that. So it's always good to kind of check in with people as to, how you're doing. Ask them how you're doing. So hopefully that they don't get to that point. But yes, just checking on someone's mental, their mental health state.
And the thing is as well, which is, because I know this sessions that you do, is there a certain age range?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
I think because, I wouldn't like to close the door on anybody's, because of their age. I mean, we've got support available for people if we can't manage, and I say use the word manage, if somebody identifies that they need further support, we'll have counsellors available to give them that. And that's the thing, I think it affects everybody,
So,
irrespective of age. So young people are affected.
Yeah, I agree that they are effective. But how young would you go? Because I'm talking this to be a really safe space, and the people who are there are very comfortable with what they're doing, the support that they're.
And I think if we identify that there was somebody really young, we might, sort of take them. We've got breakout rooms, so a very young person might not want to discuss that in the larger group.
Yes.
So we can take people into what we call the breakout rooms, so they can have support there.
Yeah, and the group is not just for people who are suffering mental health or thinking about suicide, is it?
No, it's not. It's for everybody. So if you've been impacted, so you're, a relative that's, I say survived suicide, so somebody that that has taken their life, you might need somewhere to go talk to talk. So this is an opportunity to come and speak with us in that space.
And how because one of the reasons why I mentioned the young people as well is, again, the conversation whether it's parents or adults can have and know when to take something serious and when not to, or when a conversation could work as prevention for a situation later on in life, because of maybe I'm going a bit deep here and getting into some analytical, I don't know, but sometimes just as a flippant thing, because a child doesn't get their own way, they may say, I want to die, I don't want to be here, you don't like me, you hate me because you're not letting me have something. But depending, and again, tell me if I'm wrong, depending even how that is dealt with or approached would have the impact of how often the child might use that term, or how it may impact on them depending on the reaction from the adult in a later life.
Yeah, I think what's important is not to ignore it, because I think those words are very emotive, aren't they? And it's, if a child is saying that, let's stop and, okay, why do you feel that bad? do you really, check it out? Are you really feeling that? And let them know that them saying that, the impact it has on you as a parent, you as a friend, as a colleague. Because you don't, like you say, you don't want it to be, you don't want to miss something. So I think it's important that you address it, because I think when I was young, it was like, Mum said, stop talking the foolishness, that kind of thing. But actually, I mean, I didn't say that, but, sometimes those things aren't taken seriously. But it's about us taking, sort of stopping and just having a check-in and a dialogue about that, about the use of those words and what that means. And, are you really thinking that way?
Definitely. Now, I've tried to contact Joe on that. Joe, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, love.
So I phoned Joe because I don't know what was happening with the line. But Joe, you're going to need to turn your computer down. I'm trying to contact Joe on that. Joe, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're going to need to turn your computer down or your radio, whatever, which one you've got on.
So I've turned my volume off.
Yeah, I can hear you now. So I've got you on the phone.
Right, okay.
Karen can hear you. I don't know what happened, why you couldn't get online. Or I suppose you was online, you said, but we couldn't see you. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, you couldn't see me. I could see you from Facebook and I could see you from YouTube. I even had Sister Lana there helping me on the other line.
Yeah, we're on there, but you needed to get on. You could see us, but you needed... anyway, we've got you in voice, if not in the physical, yeah, and we'll be happy with that. So Karen's given us a great introduction to what the sessions are going to be about and enlightened us around quite a lot of things in the short space of time that we've been talking. Most definitely, one of the most important things that she said that has struck me is being direct, in a sense, and being forthright and being willing to ask the questions. And it makes a lot of sense, because I suppose in that sense, you being confident to ask the question possibly instills confidence in them about you.
Well, yeah, because, I've got a personal experience as well as a professional experience. And my personal was that my uncle took his life 3 years ago. And I went on a big discovery road, and I went and did lots of research because I wanted to understand it. Because growing up in a Caribbean family in Britain, I was told that it was a sin to take your own life. I was told that it was the devil, and that if we ever decided to take our own life, we would go to hell, and that we wouldn't go to heaven. And so for years and years, that's what I was taught, and that is what I believed. And then when my uncle took his life 3 years ago, I then wanted to learn and understand it on a bigger level. And I was also conscious that, especially in our black community, that people do struggle with it. It's a very taboo subject. And I also sense a level of fear and the lack of knowledge and understanding as well. And what I found out on my road of discovery was that suicide is actually a form of mental health. It's when your mind goes to a certain place where you feel that road is a very dark, sticky road, and there's actually no light. You can't see light at the other end of that road. And it's not that, because there's another theory that it's an attention seeking, people are just wanting attention. And in an actual fact, it's a person is expressing their deep unhappiness, and the only way that they feel it is better for them if they are no longer here. And they're often not just feeling a burden and a deep-rooted sadness to themselves, but they're also often feeling a real burden, hindrance to those in their life. And so this was a huge wake-up call for me, because it made me realise a new concept and a deeper understanding of what really goes on for people who either have regular suicidal thoughts or even for those who have taken the life. The other aspect that I learned is that you'll get people who will quite frequently in their life, through their brokenness and their sadness, that they will constantly feel that they don't want to live anymore, that they don't want to be here anymore. Some may have thoughts that will take them down a road of how they'd like to leave and go, whilst other people just feel that they genuinely don't want to live anymore, but they haven't gone to that part B of working it out or trying to think what they will do not to be here. I also met, since losing my uncle, who I'm actually good friends with, I know someone that has regular episodes of trying to take her life. She's done this for many, 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 many years. And in her later years, she's managed to source an amazing husband who is quite supportive and has been able to give her some care and some love and some balance. That while she might feel that she wants to take her own life, in her later years, she hasn't as much tried to do that. That my other aspect, what I found in my research as well, was that there isn't a place to talk about it. There isn't a space where people can come and feel safe and comfortable to not just share what's going on for them, because you've got people who have they're bereaved to suicide, and then you've got people who may have tried to take their own life. So there's a few different aspects to it. But what I found was, and especially in our black community, was that there's not been a space where people can come and feel comfortable and share, and also hear of the huge support that's out there, and also the familiarity of what's going on in their mind is actually often going on in other people's mind that experience it the same. So we start off the word Kaponya. I'm passionate when I'm creating something for the Afro-Caribbean community. I like to give it an African name with meaning. We are working in partnership with Can, and they've been amazing. And the idea is that we've run these 3 sessions. We've done 1, we've got 2 more. And it's a place where people can come and either share, they can sit and listen, and we also provide a lot of support either on the evening and for afterwards as well. And it's a place where we can come and give you some research and statistics, because since my discovery journey, I've been able to partner with a good half a dozen professionals in the UK that work around suicide.
Okay, thanks a lot for that, Joe. Just quickly, you mentioned quite at the beginning, in the sense of when you were young and you were told things like it's a sin for suicide to do that. It's kind of a twofold thing, that, isn't it? Because I'm sure in a way they were trying to say that to stop the person from doing it. And is that just the wrong language to use in that position? Because in the other hand, if you're fighting it, it's like, are you saying in some circumstances it's all right for somebody to whether take their own life or have that feeling of that they want to do that? How do you equate that with what the message is coming from maybe a religious perspective?
I think the message is coming from a place of fear, and it is very... Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry. I think it's... I believe it's coming from a place of fear when it's got the faith aspect to it, and it's a place of fear and not knowing how to manage it or deal with it. And this has been tales and stories that have been taught us for many, many years. It's not just my generation, and it's new. And I think that because there's also such a taboo with mental health, that there's another fear factor as well. So it's very easy to align it with it's a devil and it's a sin, opposed to realizing that it's a mental health issue, because lots of people are already quite afraid of mental health in general and don't fully really understand. And me and Karen have built quite a good relationship since working around the Kaponya. And even recently we were both saying that, you know, we believe that everyone has a mental health. Every single body, whether you share it, whether you keep it private to yourself, in whatever capacity, that every single body in the whole human race, we all have some form of mental health, and it will play out at different times within our life, and for some it's more than others. So in terms of the faith aspect, us being told that, I believe it's a level of fear and the unknown of exploring it and looking into it deeper.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm sure Karen would as well. And I do agree.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The other aspect was, you know, for me, it's about us, if we're able to try and prevent people that want to take their life to do that, and to try and encourage them that there can be more to life, and let's try and source their joy and what their happiness is, and give them their support to not make them go down that road. And I think one of the ways that we're only going to do that is if we can do this and have the conversations, because a lot of people are living in a shame and a fear. I mean, I look at my uncle. He had a very vibrant life. He was a social worker, and he was in his 50s. He lived in Warrington. He had a very vibrant life, and he, you know, when we had the coroner's report clearly stated that Brian was the to-go-to guy. He was the guy that everybody went to, everybody looked up to, and he was a very good organizer and cared for a lot of people. Went to the gym 3 times a week, would cook amazing dinner parties, travelled 3 times a year. But there was an incident at his workplace that we still don't know what happened, that changed the course of his life that weekend. And he took his life within 48 hours. And we don't know what that incident was. What I do know is that his suicide was a long one, and he was in a lot of pain for a good 2 days in his flat. And I often think, could we have been able to ring or sit with him and talk with him and maybe encourage him to make some different choices? And so that's one of the things that I'm trying to encourage. And I'm
what does that then do? I ain't saying that you ain't supposed to look and question and say, what if? But is this another part of the session? Because there is, and maybe maybe you can answer that, Joe, but I've initially put it to both of you. In the sense of afterwards, because...
Oh, you mean once he's gone, or?
Yeah, he's gone, but you're still questioning. Could I have done this? Could I have been there if I had done that before? I did question it more at the time. And as time's gone on, there's 2 things I've done out of my uncle taking his life. Because I believe in when you have a challenge or when you endure, you know, some kind of pain or trauma, that we can have a choice that we can try and turn that around. So my uncle took his life 3 years ago, and since then, I've created a radio show where people tell their life stories. You've been a guest on it, Tony. And that's about inspiring others. And I think that we, you know, as human beings will leave the earth, but we never really get to know what they did in their life. We do a little bit of a eulogy, but I think there's something quite cathartic and therapeutic for other people to hear what's going on in people's life stories. And so I've dedicated, and the root of that show is from my uncle taking his own life.
And so the other aspect that I wanted to create, which we've done, we're here now.
Did you? Can I just ask, Joe? Did you have somebody to go to talk to about how you felt about your uncle doing what he did, your cousin doing what he did?
Well, as a minister, and because I'm a spiritual counsellor, I have to be in and out of therapy anyway. So I'm in a therapy. Because I serve as a therapist. I am in and out of therapy quite often. So
okay,
yeah.
Right. And this is most definitely an area that would come up in the sessions that you yourself and Karen are.
And can I just add? I think that I think it's.
Hold on, Joe. Joe, hold that. I'll come back. Karen's just.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah, I think one of the things that Joe's saying is that we've talked about the professionals needing support. So that's another area, and it's something that we want to probably look at in the future. But I think the question that you asked was it's so important, because where do that what if? Where do people go to? And people don't often, I use the word survivors. People don't think that they need to talk about it. They don't feel that, I'm okay, I'll be all right, I'll get over it. But actually they do need to talk about it to sort of help resolve issues for themselves, or that feeling of, what if that guilt. I use the word guilt because that's often what people are left with. So yeah, we do encourage that people talk about that too.
Okay, thanks for that, Karen. Go on, Joe. Sorry, I stopped you before.
Yeah, so the other two things that we've created in this session is, one is that we have therapists in the room. On the Zoom group in the Kaponya Cafe, we actually have therapists, because we're mindful that it's a really sensitive, and for some it can be a painful subject. And so if you feel that you're struggling within that session, you can then go out in a breakout room with a therapist and get some support immediately in the session. And then we've also got, we all put in the links for where you can get professional help after that. And whether that be you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, or you've tried to take your own life in the past and you want support with that, or whether it be you've been bereaved by suicide and you would like support in that. Because there's more than one aspect in it. And one of my other passions is, and I speak from a personal aspect as well, is that and this is what me and Karen were saying, is that we're really conscious that professionals struggling with their mental health, and because of the taboo around it, they don't feel they've got a space, or they don't want to, or they feel quite private about it to share it with anybody else. And what we're trying to do is build that platform that they've got somewhere where they can share it, because we believe that the more it's stored inside and the more that it stays inside, is the more it's like you're pouring the poison down your own throat. The more that we can get it out and share it in a confined and safe place, we believe it can be more beneficial for the person.
And coming from don't want to get into this one, we've only got 1 minute to go before we go for a break. But I'll put it out there in the sense of bringing this kind of health, mental well-being, emotional well-being conversation actually as quite a standard within families, to make that conversation a norm, not necessarily just around suicide, but
mental health.
Yeah.
So the other thing for me is, Tony, which is a really good point. So my grandmother came here, and I'm a very open soul. Tony, you know that, and Karen and anyone who's listening that knows me very well. So my grandmother came here in the Windrush, and she has 7 children, and I'm the first grandchild.
Joe, hold on to that. Mum came to England
Okay.
and had 7 children. We're just going to go for a break, and
Yeah.
we'll be right back.
Feel the vibe on Legacy.
Greetings. This is a message.
Right, we're still online, Joe. So we can still hear you. Hello, Joe. Hold on. Hello, Joe. Ah, yeah, doesn't matter. I can't get you. You can see you. Now we're going to be right back with Joe. So currently we are speaking with Reverend Joe Malaika and also Karen Hutchinson. We're talking about an event the next event that's going to be taking place on the 7th of April. Discussing this topic, very, very serious topic, and I think even the more we're having this discussion now with Karen and Joe, there's more things that have come out that I didn't even think about in the sense of areas of impact on mental health and discussion. And Karen, I mean, I agree with Joe. I actually think that we are in quite a terrible position in the sense of mental health as a world situation. Yeah, what we see going on is I just put it down to mental health. I don't want to go off the subject, but we've had all the stuff that's been going on in the news with, it's George Floyd or whatever. It takes a different type of mindset to not see somebody as another human being and be able to treat them in the way that happened.
I think, what you're saying is so true. And, part of my job is about well-being. And I've been saying a lot about, let's get our well-being right. And if we can get our well-being right, then hopefully we can stop some of the other issues around health occurring. And, there's 5 ways to well-being. And if I can remember them off the top of my head, one is about connecting. If we all try and connect with somebody on a regular basis, the impact that's going to help on our mental health and on our well-being. Let's use the word, let's focus on well-being. And then to keep active. Now, we know if we keep active, then, it sends off the good hormones, it, lifts our spirit, makes us feel better. And then they say to give. So, give of your time. I mean, what you're doing now, you're giving of your time. You're doing something for the community, in the community. So that's a great way to help your well-being. How good do you feel once you've done a show? Sort of that. Right. So you look at, I just saw your face there. You don't take it for granted. You don't do it just because for the sake of doing it. You do it because you actually get that physical reward of feeling better for doing that. Let's remember that's 3. If I can remember the other 2. So
well, I do, especially when I'm talking to interesting people. I have in the 10 years that I've been here had some shows where I have been it's only recently we've been online, so it's been easier for me to like being able to whatever. But anyway, I won't say which shows. So, but yeah, I totally agree.
And so, and I'm trying to remember the other 2. So give me a moment whilst I've got to write them down to remember them. Isn't it terrible? But there is something about I'm going back to the giving. I mean, people think giving is just it's about money. It's not about money. It's time. It can be, I say I take my neighbour's bin out. It's not a big thing, but it makes me feel better. It's a small thing, and it doesn't have to be the huge, gestures of, massive gestures. Something very small, but it makes you feel better. And whilst I'm talking, you keep talking to Joe now, and I will try and remember the other 2.
I'll have to pick up my neighbour at the moment because my neighbour does the same thing every week. He brings my bin in, and yeah, it does make you feel good. Just those little things.
Something about serving others, Tony.
Definitely.
There's something about serving others, and I can sometimes. I love walking down the street, and I love connecting with a stranger, and I love the laughter and the love and laughter that you and that person, and it's a stranger, you don't know if you're ever going to see them again. But it's nice when you've left that person and you've put a little bit of joy in that person's heart, or they've done it to you, and you've got no idea what that person's going through, but you kind of sense that you've left a bit of a difference.
Definitely.
So what I was saying before was that my grandmother came in the Windrush. She had 7 children here, and like many of our parents, she didn't have it easy. I was the first of the next generation, and both my parents were unable to raise me, but my grandmother did till she died. But I was witness to most of her 7 children having mental health. And I'm going back 30-odd years ago, 40 years ago. And I've also seen in the next generation now where there's, a generational mental health. And so mental health has been a real huge part of my life with my family. And I'm 51 now. So I really feel passionate about us storing it and holding our pain in here. And I see the benefit and the advantage of being able to share it with another, and especially in a safe place, with the result of some support. And this is where me and Karen were talking about professionals as well. I can be in company with some professionals, and I can sense my integrity feels their pain and their struggles. And the most I can do is kind of maybe hold them, or I'm good at writing cards, as you know, and stuff, Tony, but,
There's so much, like you say, and that.
I don't know what it is, Tony, but my integrity can feel it. I can feel it in people that they're struggling, but because of their professionalism, they don't feel comfortable to do anything about that or share it.
No. Well, there's many environments, especially work environments, where people wouldn't be comfortable to share it.
No.
They probably feel, and through experience or things that they've seen, that it wouldn't be received with the compassion that you would need it to be received.
I would also say it's about always feeling that you've got to be strong. You can't show your weakness, but we're human. And I would say there, but for the grace of God go I. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I've got lots of family members that are therapists and social workers and just good family members that listen to me. So I've been able to, over the years, and when I've had a rough week or a month or even a rough few months, been able to talk it through with family members, and they've seen my vulnerabilities. I might not necessarily have shown that at work, but I've been able to. I can quite happily say, I've had loads of support from my family over the years, and I think, and that's because we have a conversation. We're not afraid to sort of check in. When I go quiet, as I say, my family check in to make sure that I'm okay, and that's reciprocated. We all do it for each other. Not heard from you for a few days, and that's going back to the thing I was talking about, connecting. So if you're connecting with somebody and that connection changes or is a bit different, and I think as Jo was saying, I mean, she connects because she senses their spirit. She senses if there's something not quite right, and that's also been, there's one of the other things about well-being is about being aware of yourself, being aware of your surroundings, not sort of taking things for granted. So, they say if it doesn't feel right, then maybe it isn't. So be aware, and just, again, I use the word check in, check in that everything's okay. And what Jo also said is that this journey has been about her learning. She's kept on learning about suicide, what happens to people. And that, again, helps with one's well-being, is that if we keep learning, that will, keep our minds, active, keep us interested in what's, the world, so those things do help with our well-being. So, coming here and talking to you today, I've had to navigate a new system but it's learning. It's those little things. I think, okay, I'm going to do this. But it's about challenging yourself to do something that you wouldn't ordinarily do, as Malaika and I are doing throughout the, Jo and I are doing in the sessions. We're doing something that we've not done before, but encouraging people to talk about this subject that we hope will no longer be taboo.
Yeah. Let me just read. I've got a text here. Let me just read it. It says, "Give thanks to Karen. Her explanations are so frank and clear and has stopped me in my tracks. Excellent delivery, which is comforting to know you are in that field. Thank you for the work you do." And that's from Naomi. Thank you very much for that, Naomi. Coming from...
Thank you, Naomi. That's made me really emotional. Thank you.
Send another one in, Naomi. We'll have her... It has been the last 5 minutes. Okay. No, it's beautiful, and it is, and I think that's why, you know, you're sometimes able to touch other people, just like what Joe was saying. If you're willing to be in touch with your feelings on that surface level, then yeah, you will link with other people. Most of us, we go like this, don't we? And most of us are not as open to talk about it. It's sometimes some people may say it's also different for guys, as it is for women. But I think people are learning much more to.
I think it's really important what you've just said about men. You know, you've sort of said guys, and you know, do men talk?
Yes, some,
Right.
but I don't think there's not enough, like you say, spaces. I know quite a few people have tried to put these spaces together, and some have done so. I'm aware of
Yes.
a group that I have, yeah, it's just again how mainstream it is. It's still very.
You've got to look for it.
Yeah.
You've got to search for it. It's not that.
Well, I suppose when you look at the States, in a way, even as crazy as they are, therapy is something that they just do, isn't it? They have
Absolutely. Everybody has therapy.
Everybody has therapy. But here, you know, and hopefully this is something that we're molding in a different way with this conversation and what you're doing. It's a stiff upper lip. Don't share your stuff in public. And it's still very strong.
That's interesting. There's two things there, because the British thing is the stiff upper lip, and then we've got a Caribbean African thing. We don't talk our business. You know, we don't talk our business to everybody. So there's two things colliding. You know, sort of saying, well, we shouldn't talk, but actually we're trying to turn that on its head now and say, yeah, please talk. And it's getting sort of knocking down those barriers for a dialogue to commence and continue. Excellent.
Can you remind us again how dates and how people can find out how they can get involved in the sessions?
If people send an email to info@carn.co.uk, they will be given a link. We'll send them information about the event and send the link to join us on the 7th of April, 7 o'clock till 8:30.
And can I just quickly ask you both in relation to the cultural aspects of support in this area, how important is that?
I think for many people, when they want a therapist that looks like them, and that's what Carn does. Is that Carn has Black therapists. That people have people can be that they can have a therapist that looks like them. They have that choice there. But that's not for everybody. If that's not for everybody, there are lots of other organisations or lots of other organisations, out there that can provide support. But if somebody wants a Black therapist, then Carn is able to provide that. And to access Carn therapist, it's self-referral. Go onto the website, and you can actually get. There's a phone number which we'll put in the box that people can contact for the counselling and bereavement and lots of other services by that helpline.
Excellent, thank you. Joe?
Yeah?
Still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let's just get some last words because we're going to have to go. So
yeah, I would like to just encourage people to try and come to the sessions. They don't have to contribute. It could just be a place where they listen and where they can signpost people. It is a safe place, and me and Karen are quite kind, and we're as gentlemen.
Quite. You've come across as very kind this evening, very understanding, very compassionate, very empathetic.
Yeah, and for me, I'm a single mum of 2 boys, and I'm constantly encouraging them to wear their hearts on their sleeves, and more so because, we come from a family that does have mental health, and even on their father's side, there's also mental health, and so it's about trying to come clean and be honest with your own feelings, and we're trying to create that environment. I do laugh and joke and say that my boys give me too much information, but I believe better they give me too much information than I don't get none. So it's about having that platform to come and share your heart, really, and let us walk that path with you and support you in any way that we can. And, there is black therapists there, but equally, you will get black people that will say, I don't want people for know my business. So there is other types of therapists out there as well.
Excellent. And can you just remind us again? So is that another contact there, Karen? info@can.org.uk? Or is it the help best one to be used?
Either one will work. Help is great.
There is a poster, but I don't know how I can get it over to you.
But it's online. I think I did put it on the advert.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you go to CAN, which is www.cahn.org.uk, and there's also a telephone number here, 077 10 022 382, and you can get information about it there. The next 2 sessions are on the 7th of April and the 5th of May at between 7 and 8:30.
Excellent. Okay, ladies, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure speaking. Very much an educational show for me. Very much enjoyed it. You take care. All right, then.
Take care.
Yeah, we'll catch up again. Okay, see ya.
Thanks, Karen. Bye, love. Bye.
Okay, that's it. End of the show for this evening. Enjoyed it. A lot of thanks goes out to Samuel, who joined us all the way over there in Kenya with his project with the Black Links Global. Speaking with tribes over there, we'll be catching back up with him in the near future. And also the discussion around suicide with Karen and Joe. And you can get involved in that. The next session is at the 7th of April. The one after that is the 5th of May. Maybe if you get the 7th of April, you want the 5th of May, and you'll probably be more comfortable to open up in the 5th of May. If you want more information, you can contact info. Hold on, I'm going to get it up online as well. You can contact info@can.org.uk. That's can, CAHN.org.uk, or help@can.org.uk. Okay, thank you very much. That's it for me this evening. Thanks for all the texts, all the people who have joined us and got involved this evening. So until next week, you take care. See ya.
Salvation, left the conversation.